hona zaruri nahi hai, because the rain can happen somewhere else and the floods can happen, as we saw in 2010, the rains happened somewhere else, the flood happened somewhere else. 2022 as well, the rain happened somewhere else, the flood impacted Sindh, Lower Punjab, Middle Punjab. So it's very important that the product that is been designed by the industry, it looks at the circumstances and the risk factors and it mitigates that risk. And the yield index scheme is very important, very component, because it covers the shortfall of yield not only due to rainfall, which is one of the floods, which is one of the reasons. It covers loss of yield due to rain, due to drought, due to insect pest attacks, due to locust attacks, due to any reason. Whatever the reason is, if the yield falls, the payout happens. So that is very critical, the level of the product, that we don't just go on, India mein kya ho raha hai and China mein kya ho raha hai. We need to understand, in India, 65% of the agriculture is Barani. So for them, obviously, a separate scheme works well. In our case, obviously, that doesn't happen like this. So I think that product solution, or that product that we need to define, needs to be, very important. Secondly, and I think the most important thing here is we need to understand that agriculture perhaps will never be able to fully operate on a market-based mechanism. As in some of the conference and some of the people that I talk to, they suggest that over a period of time, market forces need to come on. Let's look at what is happening globally. Moin Saab mentioned agriculture worldwide. You talk of India, the level of subsidy is between 50 to 80%. You talk of China, the level of subsidy is more than 50%. You talk of US, you talk of any country in the world which have agriculture as their mainstay for 50 years, 40 years, still the government is providing subsidy. And the government will continue to provide subsidy if they want this. We need to look at this from the landscape of, food security. It can't be left on the farmers, because the people we are trying to protect here are some of the most vulnerable people of our society. So they cannot be left at their own origin to generate their sources. So I think the government will need to play an important role, and we need to continue to play an important role. It's not going to change. It's not going to change anytime soon. It has not changed in any other territory or geography of the world. And I think this is how it needs to run. So we need to be ready, as one of my previous bosses said, be ready for the long haul. So we need to be ready for the long haul. We need to make sure that we have the necessary resources earmarked to cater to those requirements. So the product is very necessary. Technology, I think, again, technology will play a very important role. Technology will play a very important role in ensuring that the schemes are implemented properly. I'm not sure what, yes, the cost may come down slightly with the use of technology, but technology is not going to play any critical role in halving the cost, because the risk factors will remain. The floods will happen whether technology is there or not. The earthquakes, the droughts, the insects and pest attacks will basically happen. So we need to, yes, embark technology, and technology is very important. For example, the yield scheme that I'm talking about. Currently, this yield scheme is run on manual crop cutting experiments. So when the yield is found out, then the payment is made. There are technology solutions for that. Even I think someone mentioned Sparko in the remark. Sparko has the capacity to calculate what they call the NDVI, the normal difference vegetation index. And that index, I think if designed properly, can give you an estimate of the shortfall of yields, without actually going through the process of creating hundreds and thousands of cost-cutting experiments and finding out what the shortfall of yields, waiting for 8 months, 5 months, 6 months to find that out and then make the payments. So I think that technology can be used. Then there's a technology on moisture monitoring, right? So that, again, Spargo can provide that. So with these sort of technologies, I think we can reduce the cost, obviously the implementation cost, we can reduce the timeline of settling the claim, but that's very there. I think there was also mention on livestock. I think we tend to ignore that. Livestock, in terms of its share in the agri sector, is bigger than crops. Livestock, I believe, is 14% of the national GDP. And that's, I think, an area which is reflected. Neglected to a certain extent. I think that is very important. I think products needs to be designed. And there again, technology can play a very important role, because one of the challenges that the insurance companies face and the banks face is in terms of identification of enemy. जब आपने loan दिया, crop में तो जब आपने loan दिया, you know the area, you know the crop, so you know what risk you're covering. Livestock में, I think that cannot be, that is not such an easy solution. So you need to tag the animal, or you need to insert an RFID device to check what animals is insured. Yahan, I can share with you, as Jubilee, we are working with a number of, on a number of initiatives. And one of those initiatives is working with LUMS. We are trying to design a software, an AI-based software model, where best by taking the photographs of the animal, they will be able to identify which animal has been insured. So just like human beings have these specific fingerprints, animals also have their specific, fingerprint by the name of facial recognition. So a technology can be used to just taking a few photographs of the animals, of the cattle, of the cow. You will have, so that need of going there and that expenditure of inserting those tags on animals, that will be done away. Similarly, we are working with another university, GIK, and trying to develop an AI-based software which can, looking at the carcass, taking the photograph of the carcass, develop, identify that this is the animal that was, insured, and the reason why the death of that animal basically happens. So yes, technology obviously, and obviously there's a lot of other rooms you can use technologies in educating the farmers. We know that, a delay of a week in sowing can cause a 10 to 12% shortfall in yield. So, technology with all these smartphones that are happening, 190 million, we can use those technologies in educating our farmers, informing the farmers of when to, sow the seed, when to apply the fertilizer, when to water, so a lot of these technologies can be used in improving our yields and improving the delivery section. But I think it's very important, if I were to give, request SCCP and relevant people to have two measures, is to look at how to enlarge the scope of the current CLIS scheme and convert it into an area yield index scheme. A report is already lying there. And somehow ensure that the continuity in terms of the government support for such schemes continue. Thank you.
Thank you, Asfar Saab. So Suparco came up quite a lot, and not, I mean, just being devil's advocate, Suparco is not the only one doing risk modeling. So NDRMF, the National Disaster Risk Management Fund, has developed a very nice SNATCAT model working on all the perils of floods, earthquake, droughts, landslides. National Disaster Management Authority that I'm representing today is able to develop these kind of models. So the good thing is it's not a monopoly in the market, so you can go to any other entity. Uh, and thank you, Mr. Saab, for highlighting the vulnerability in the vulnerable population, food security. And also earlier, the Deputy Governor talked about how agriculture sector is quite vulnerable to climate risks. And I would like to add on what the Deputy Governor mentioned, that it's not only the agriculture sector, actually, it's our overall financial sector that is quite vulnerable because our infrastructure is vulnerable. The highways are vulnerable, the airports are vulnerable, the ports are vulnerable. And earlier, also, Zafar Saab mentioned what's going to be the way forward from this conference. And he also talked about if there should be a risk finance strategy, and happy to share the risk finance strategy has been drafted since last year. Unfortunately, it hasn't seen the daylight yet. And the strategy heavily talks about, coming to you, Khalisab, the strategy heavily talks about agriculture insurance, but also something that we haven't talked yet about, public asset insurance, something NICL will be shouldering the burden of, which once the strategy is approved, once the strategy is out. Now, talking about public asset insurance and a heavy mandate coming your way in the next few years, what do you see as a CEO of the NICL? What are the barriers that could be actually prohibiting you or hindering your performance or the delivery from NICL in underwriting risks related to climate and disasters for infrastructure?
Okay. Thank you, Kamal. The main barrier, as we all know, the penetration, the awareness in insurance sector, in public sector especially, also like we have in our country, that the risk is not accepted. Uh, it is not, the awareness is not there. Awareness is not there. When the new project comes in, it has to be insured because of the financial institution of financial institutions involvement. So it gets insured, but when it goes into the operation, COD is there. So they are not insured, other than government power plants, which are insured. But most of the projects are not insured. And we have many critical projects which they don't have any operational insurances, which includes liabilities, political violence, and the liabilities as such, it can uh, be huge cost for the government if they happen. So that's one of the problems that we have, the awareness and acceptance of risks that it has to be insured. And the second comes the budget. Okay, when we go and market our products, that okay, we are an ICL and we have the mandate to insure public assets. So we got the other party convinced, and now they said we don't have budget. The budget allocation, that is the major problem we have. Other than power plants, government power plants, the allocation of budget, there's no allocation of budget in their expense. So they want to do it, but they don't have budget for it. And we have been contacting Ministry of Finance for that also, to have on provincial level and um, federal level as well. But the budget remains an issue for us. And then the third barrier comes in as risk management adaptation measures. Okay, so every project has their own safety and security SOPs, agreed, but they may not be sufficient, and they are not normally sufficient for us to have it insured appropriately. So when we visit them, we advise them of adoption of risk management measures. It may be very costly for them to adapt because of their budget constraints. Okay, so we have recently seen few projects where we advise them, and it's been a year that they have not come back to us. They said that this is what we have. इसी तरह insurance करना है तो करें, but it is not insurable. It is not insurable. They are willing to insure it, but it's not insurable at that situation without following some risk management strategies. And then the valuation also counts. The valuation of assets. We don't have any updated valuation on the current market replacement values, which we always need when we go for insurance. So we have in hand few projects where we have a claim, and the project was insured at 180 rupees a dollar, and the claim when happened was 280 rupees. So we have like straight 45% under insurance on that. So the valuation, increase of valuation and replacement value basis is always an issue for us. And we have been struggling on that, and we have not been so successful in that. So that has been an issue. Yeah. Right?
Thank you so much, sir.
So-
I wanted to continue, but I've already received 3 tickets, and before Gibran Saab drags me off the floor. Sir, we'll have to wrap up, but I'll quickly come to you, Zafar Saab, if you have anything quickly, very brief,
जी
maybe 1 minute, 2
जी
minutes.
शुक्रिया कमाल साहब। मैं बहुत क्विकली बस ये गुजारिश करना चाहूंगा कि 2-3 चीजों को क्लैरिफाई कर दूं जरा, जो यहाँ भी डिस्कशन हुआ था। देखिए, जब मैं यूज ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजी की हमने बात की ना, तो यूज ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजी कॉस्ट कम करने में काम उस वक्त आ रही है व्हेन क्रिटिकल मास इज क्रिएटेड। तो जब ये हम 7.5 लाख फार्मर पे जाएंगे बिकॉज ऑफ द यूज ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजी, तो इंश्योरेंस की कॉस्ट नीचे चली जाएगी। तो इंश्योरेंस पर से, जिस तरह असर साहब फरमा रहे थे, पर से शायद टेक्नोलॉजी को हेल्प नहीं करेगा, मगर क्रिटिकल मास की वजह से वो नीचे आ जाएगी। तो वी नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड दैट एंड अप्रिशिएट इट। सेकेंडली, जो इंश्योरेंस और फाइनेंसिंग स्ट्रेटजी की आप बात कर रहे हैं, आई होप इट्स अ कोलैबोरेटिव डॉक्यूमेंट, और मैं इस पर रिकमेंड करूंगा कि बिफोर इट सी द लाइट ऑफ द डे, आप प्लीज इन्वॉल्व करें सारे स्टेक होल्डर्स को, पर्टिकुलरली टू द बैंक्स। अगर आप खाली फॉर एग्जांपल जा रहे हैं थ्रू मैं आविद साहब बैठे हैं, मैं उनकी प्रेजेंस में ये बात कह रहा हूं, अगर आप खाली स्टेट बैंक से बात करके जा रहे हैं तो यू विल नॉट गो एनीवेयर। उसकी वजह ये कि वी आर द वंस ना इन द फ्रंट लाइन, तो आपको हमसे बात करनी पड़ेगी, हमसे पूछना पड़ेगा कि क्या क्या चीजों की जरूरत है। सो प्लीज इसको जो है ना ज्यादा कोलैबोरेटिव बनाइए विद ऑल द स्टेक होल्डर्स हु आर इन्वॉल्व्ड, नॉट जस्ट द रेगुलेटर्स अलोन, नाइदर एसईसीपी नॉर एसपीपी और एनी अदर रेगुलेटर। जो लोग फील्ड में हैं, आप उनसे बात करें और उनको इस पे एंगेज करें, अदरवाइज कोई फायदा नहीं है। एक डॉक्यूमेंट और बन जाएगा और उस पर काम होता रहेगा। तीसरी चीज ये कि जो इंश्योरेंस का क्लेम है ना, ये एक बहुत बड़ा मसला है। खालिद साहब बोल रहे थे तो मुझे ख्याल आया कि खालिद साहब के पास हमारे काफी सारे इंश्योरेंस क्लेम अभी भी पेंडिंग पड़े हुए हैं। ये जरा इस पे ये काम जो है ना, ये इंश्योरेंस कंपनी के अपने करने का है कि इनको पैरामेट्रिक्स जो है उसको इंट्रोड्यूस करना पड़ेगा, प्रोडक्ट डेवलपमेंट करनी पड़ेगी इस तरह कि क्लेम जो है वो ऑटोमेटिकली पे हो जाए एंड नॉट देयर आर डिलेज। आई एम फुली सिंपैथेटिक विद खालिद साहब, क्योंकि मैं दूसरी तरफ भी पब्लिक सेक्टर में बैठा हूं, तो मुझे अंदाजा है कि इनको कितना ज्यादा उसके थ्रू डॉक्यूमेंटेशन करनी पड़ती है। मगर ये एक जेन्युइन प्रॉब्लम है जिसकी वजह से भी लोग अवॉइड करते हैं इंश्योरेंस की तरफ जाना। देखिए, इंश्योरेंस इंडस्ट्री की हद तक जो सबसे बड़ा चैलेंज इस वक्त है, और मैं एससीसीपी की से गुजारिश करूंगा कि जो आपका इसका डेप्थ और ब्रेड्थ है ना इंश्योरेंस इंडस्ट्री की, वो बहुत ही नैरो है। ना प्रोडक्ट्स हैं, और ये इस तरह की प्रोडक्ट डेवलपमेंट जो है वो कोलैबोरेशन से होगी, हम काम करने को तैयार हैं। और ना कंपनीज हैं कि वो इतना बड़ा रिस्क उठा सके। और जो री इंश्योरेंस है उसके ऊपर भी खासतौर से पब्लिक सेक्टर में तो बहुत कंस्ट्रेंट है। इसको जरा प्लीज खोलें और इसको देखें कि वहां क्या हम और कर सकते हैं ऐसा कि ये डेप्थ ऑफ ब्रेड इंश्योरेंस कंपनीज की बेहतर हो, प्रोडक्ट ऑफरिंग बेहतर हो, और वो फिर अल्टीमेटली कॉस्ट रिडक्शन की तरफ जाए एंड हेल्प एवरीबडी अक्रॉस। शुक्रिया कुमार सर।
Thank you so much, Zafar Saab. Points very well noted, sir, but unfortunately, we do not have the luxury of having a detailed discussion right now. And I'm getting continuous clues. May we have a huge round of applause for all the panelists. And thank you very much for this lovely discussion. Thank you so much.
I'm very thankful to all of our panelists and moderators, especially Zafar Saab, who joined us from Lahore. And now I would request Mr. Moin to please join us on the stage. Sir, agar please up stage pe aa jaye. And in the meanwhile, I would request Commissioner Insurance, Mr. Mushtaba Ahmed Lodi, to please come on the stage and present conference shields to our speakers and panelists. Zafar Saab, if you are still online, we would be sending your shield to your way on Lahore. So thank you so much for joining us here. First of all, I would request Commissioner Insurance to present shield to Mr. Moin Fuda. Next to our moderator, Mr. Kamal Ahmed. Next, we want to appreciate Mr. Abid Kamar from State Bank for joining us here. Sir Abid, if you could please take a step forward. Next, we would request to present a shield to Mr. Khalid Hamid, CEO of the NICL company. And lastly, to Mr. Asfar Arshad, MD and CEO of Jubilee General Insurance. In the meanwhile, I would request a few officers from SECP to please join us on the stage for collecting of their shield. Firstly, I would request Ms. Shazia Rahman, Mr. Gibran Paracha, and Media Director Afan Heather. Ms. Shazia Rahman and Sir Gibran Paracha were instrumental for arranging this panel, putting this panel together, and uh, and now Mr. Afan Heather, Director Media, will receive the conference sheet from Mr. Mushtaba Ahmed Lodi. Thank you so much to all our panelists, moderator and speaker for joining us here and for delivering very insightful discussion. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, now we move to our next session, Accelerating Innovation, the Digital Shift in Motor Insurance. Motor is one of the most predominant retail market segment in Pakistan. However, the number of insured vehicles in Pakistan is far lesser than the total number of vehicles on the roads. And also, we have issues in implementation of mandatory motor third-party liability insurance as well.
So to discuss the interplay of technology, legal reforms, and industry innovation for enhancing motor insurance in Pakistan, we have this panel discussion for which I'll foremostly like to invite on stage Mr. Aminuddin, CEO of TPL Insurance. Mr. Mohammad Aminuddin is an experienced professional in the field of global financial services and now a fellow of the Institute of Directors UK. He began his career with American Express and went on to work with global commodity finance, financial institutions, and capital market groups. Currently, he heads the TPL Insurance Company Limited in Pakistan.
I would invite our first panelist of the session, Mr. Badiuddin Akbar, CEO CDC Pakistan. Badi Saab has been working with CDC since over a decade now, and he has more than 20 years experience in Pakistan capital market in diversified portfolios such as finance and operations, clearing and settlement, risk management, product development, and project management.
Ladies and gentlemen, next we have Mr. Kamran Arshad Inam, CEO and MD of EFU General Insurance. Kamran Saab has an extensive career in the insurance industry and has also served as the Vice Chairman of the Insurance Association of Pakistan, where he has played a significant role for growth and development of the sector.
Our next panelist is a social media sensation, and probably we all have heard of him, Mr. Sunil Sarfaraz Manj. I would request you to come on stage. He is co-founder of parkwheels.com, which is Pakistan's leading automotive platform. He is LUMS graduate and is engaged with multiple areas of Park Wheels, such as business development, sales, event management, and automobile reviews. And he is also director, Pakistan General Merchandising Company.
Next, we have Mr. Muhammad Hisham, Chief Operating Officer of IJ General Insurance Limited. Sir, can we please have you on stage? He has 23 years of experience in the insurance sector and has held senior leadership roles across both commercial and technical domains.
Our next panelist is Mr. Rafiq Malik, who is the founding member and chief operating officer at the Baikia Pakistan, which is the largest network of motorbikes serving transport, logistics, and payment services.
May I request Mr. Amin Saab, the stage is all yours, sir.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you. Thank you very much. Come, please. So I think, given that we have been sandwiched between lunch and so I suppose we have to keep a bit time. They've got a clock on us. So Badi Saab, thank you for being on the panel. Essentially, we'd like you to talk about this innovation that you have spearheaded by virtue of creating this motor insurance repository. So if you can just help explain for the audience what a motor insurance repository is, how does it work, how does it benefit the insurance industry, how does it benefit the man at large, and what are the some examples of this in the world where we are trying to innovate and capture some of that innovation.
Thank you, Ms. Saab. Motor Insurance Repository actually is a transformative initiative that we believe that significantly enhance the insurance ecosystem in Pakistan. And the system is developed by CDC under the guidance of SECP with the great participation from the general insurance industry and with the help of IAP as well. And this system is going to be implemented in 3 different phases. The first phase is the motor insurance database in the repository. Second phase is, which is very important, which is the linkage with the excise and taxation department. And the third phase is the sharing of the claim rated data and the linkage with other authorities like motorway licensing authorities and other enforcement bodies so as to ensure that the entire ecosystem can work well. So for the first phase, to go the technical details in the data of all the active policies will be shared by the insurance companies, which include the engine number, chassis number, registration number, G registration authority, the type of policy, the issuance date, the expiry date, the name of the insurer. Each and every detail will be captured and shared in the repository system. And that will be accessible and available to all the general insurance industry. Because it's a web-based application, can be accessible through a dedicated user ID and password and can be accessible through the dedicated API as well. That data will also the regulator as well so that they can effectively oversight and make an effective policy, procedures and rules accordingly. With the, कि जब ये system पूरा बन जाएगा, after the completion of all the system, it will, the first and foremost benefit is significantly enhance the insurance penetration and the industry participation as well. Right now we know that only the 3% of the registered vehicle are insured, as per the report issued by SECP recently. About 30 million vehicles are registered, out of which 23 million are motorcycles, and around 7 million are the motor cars, and out of which only about 900,000 policies are issued, which are hardly 3%. So you can see with the implementation of the system, which is in line with the international best practices, the huge potential for the industry is available, huge potential for the insurance penetration is available. And when the system is going to be 100% implemented, it will be great benefit for the industry as well, because with the help of this, they will, by sharing all the data, it will be helpful in facilitating the insurance industry to take the informed underwriting decision. They can mitigate the risk mitigation efforts as well. And by sharing the claim related data, they can easily weeding out the poor track records of the policyholders, which include the drivers and the particular vehicle as well. And simultaneously, they can take the list and they can list out the favorable list of driver and the particular vehicle as well. They can use the data by applying certain data analytics on the data, and they can strategize the effective pricing policy. They can risk segmentation, and then they can make the proper customer profiling so that they can offer a proper insurance product and service to the sector. This will be benefit to the general public as well, because right now आज आपको पता है कि when someone is going to take the insurance policy against the motor vehicle, they can give almost the same rate. But if we have a proper record of my claim history, all the data is available, I can get the better rate from the industry as well. This system is not new, as आपने कहा कि what the international examples are available. This is not new for this world. This is in almost every part of the world, in the region as well. This system is very well implemented, even within neighboring countries. And we see that in the Middle East, in the Saudi Arabia and the Dubai, the system are very well in place. They are integrated with all the relevant stakeholders. For example, if we take the example of Saudi Arabia, where the system, the name of the Najm is available, which is a very robust system, which is connected almost with all the government authorities, the relevant government authorities, so that they can increase the insurance penetration as well. They can improve the driving habits as well. Then you can see the driving habits here in our country and compared to the driving habits in that part of the world is a significantly difference over there. So with the help of the entire database, we can create an ecosystem which will be beneficial for all the which will beneficial for the industry, which will beneficial for the general public as well, because this system is already available across the world as well. If you can see, take the example of the England, UK, US, Australia, Canada. I have a practical experience, first-hand experience in getting insurance from in Canada some years back. When I applied for the insurance, they check all my record through a centralized system, and the rate offer on the basis of all